This is a true story that happened in the early 90s. I was working as a rep for a pharmaceutical company, traveling around the country, staying in hotels. I was driving back from a conference in Chicago, and I got caught in a blizzard. I called ahead to let them know I was on my way, but when I arrived, the roads were impassable, so I had to stay. The only other person in the lobby was the concierge, and when he handed me my key, I noticed that it was marked 313. "That's an interesting room," he said, avoiding my eyes. I asked, "Oh, nothing. It's just up the last flight of stairs at the end of the hall. You can't miss it." When I got to the third floor, though there were no windows, and the door at the end of the hall was locked. As I approached it, though it unlocked itself and opened, it was huge, easily twice the size of any hotel room I'd ever seen. There was a single bed in the middle of the room facing a large flat-screen TV mounted on the wall. On the nightstand next to the bed was a rotary phone. I noticed that the clock on the phone was set 2:12:15. I shrugged it off and decided to call downstairs and ask about the room service menu. When the operator picked up, she said, "Hello, room 339, I said. "Yeah. Could you please send up a couple of towels and some coffee? Also, what time does room service start?" "I'm sorry, Mr. Williams," she replied, "but all of our staff have gone home for the evening. Would you like me to arrange for someone to pick up your car in the morning?" No. I'm leaving in the morning. Just bring me a couple of towels and coffee, please." "Very well, sir. Is there anything else?" "Yes, actually. Could you tell me which room is closest to mine? I want to borrow some sugar." "Of course, Mr. Williams. All of the rooms on this floor are closest to yours. Which would you prefer?" Then I heard what sounded like screams in the background. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?" The line went dead. Thinking that maybe the connection was bad, I tried calling down again, but the call didn't go through. I tried to get a signal on my cell phone, but I couldn't get a bar. I thought it was odd that I couldn't reach anyone, but I figured they probably just had a bad connection on this floor. I decided to take a hot bath and wait for the towels and coffee to arrive. As I waited, I noticed that the room was getting colder and colder. The heater was set to 80 degrees, but the room was starting to feel freezing. Suddenly, the phone rang. I jumped out of the bath and ran to the phone. "Hello, room Presientos Presi. Hello, is anyone there?" "Yes. Who is this?" "Hi, Mom. Sorry to call you so late, but I wanted to let you know that I made it to the hotel safely. How are you?" My mom didn't respond. I could hear her breathing heavily on the other end of the line. "Mom, are you there? Mom, are you there?" She hung up on me, confused. I tried to call downstairs again, but the call didn't go through. I tried to call my mom back, but the call didn't go through. As I stood there dumbfounded, the phone began to ring again. "Hello, room 32nd. Who is this?" "It's me. It's Adrian." Then the line went dead. I ran to the door and started pounding on it, screaming for help. But no one came. Eventually, I calmed down and realized that no one was coming. I turned around and saw that the phone was ringing again. "Hello, room 313. Hello, can someone please help me? I need to get out of here." But no one answered me. I was trapped. Eventually, the phone stopped ringing and the room grew silent. As the minutes ticked by, the room grew colder and colder. I threw on every blanket and sweater I had with me, but it wasn't enough. The room was freezing cold and I was getting scared. Suddenly, I heard a noise at the door, and I ran to hide under the covers. The doorknob began to turn, and the door slowly opened. I peeked out and saw the silhouette of a man standing in the doorway. He was tall and thin with long, pale fingers. He smiled and beckoned for me to come closer. I screamed and buried my head under the covers. When I looked up again, the man was gone. And when I stepped out from under the blankets, I saw that the phone was ringing. "Hello, room 3."